for breakfast. Put it in a cup, then I mix it up with Texas. Just feeling heavy like a midget on my neck.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing this pinup look with a modern twist for you guys. An inspired picture was sent from one of my subscribers, and she asked me if I could recreate this for girls with monolids, and I was like, of course I can. And pretty much all we did was, instead of packing the color up to your crease, we packed the base color all the way up to our eye sockets, and that kind of creates a crease and makes our eyes look larger. And if you have larger eyes, you can still do this look as well. It's just going to make your eyes look that much bigger than they already are, but the bigger the better. And if you guys like this look, then please keep on watching. To start off this look, I'm going to go in with the Naked palette, and I'm going in with the color Naked, and I'm just going to be applying this to my crease, and this is going to be our transition color. If you've been watching my video, you'll know that I like using big fluffy brushes for this, just because it kind of helps you blend better, and if you diffuse this very nicely, the crease color is just going to melt right into this color, and you won't need to blend as much. Next, I'm going to take Buck, and I'm going to be applying this to my crease. And we're just going to be blending it right in the sockets of our eyes. You want to keep it on the crease and not bring it up so much. For the lid color, I'm going in with Color Tattoo by Maybelline, and it's in Too Cool. And I'm just going to be applying this right onto my eyelids. And basically, I'm just separating the lid from my crease, which is kind of like what I did in the last video, except I'm not going to drag it out into a wing. For girls who have monolids like me, this is great because it's going to make your eyes look bigger. It's going to make it look more like you have a crease. All you're going to do is pack this right into your eye socket, and you'll see what I mean in a bit. You see when you press it in, there's a little dent right here. That's where you want the color to stop. There's one eye. Now that we've laid down our base, we're going to pat on the actual color, and this is Barely Brazen, or Brazen, I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's number 55, and it's the Maybelline Color Tattoo Pure Pigments. And because we already have the cream product underneath, it's going to stick on so much better. All you're going to do is pat it right on top of it. And it's going to be super pigmented. Taking just a little bit, I'm going to run this down here as a highlight. Basically, when I do a highlight color, I just apply it to the arch of my eyebrows, and that kind of just lifts my brow a little bit more. Going back into the brush, I barely have some Buck on here, and I'm just going to be blending out that shadow so that there's no super harsh line. Now that's pretty blended in, I'm going to take a darker color. This is my Sonia Kashuk, I'm using my Sonia Kashuk Ion Neutral palette, and I'm going to use the same crease brush. It's a nice chocolatey brown, and I'm just applying this to the outer corner of my eyes. I'm not dragging it down here because we are going to be doing a wing, so I'm just applying this right here, just on the outer edge. Just like that. it just deepens your eyes. It just gives it a little more dimension, which is another great trick for girls with monolids. And then, of course, going back with my fluffy brush, I'm just going to be blending that out very lightly. You still want to see that darker color in the outer corners. You don't want to blend it so much to where it looks like one brown all over the lid. I hope the camera is picking this up pretty well. But if not, then you guys will definitely see it in the pictures that I post. So the eyeshadow was pretty easy for the most part, so we're just going to move right onto winged liner. I'm using NYC's High Definition Liquid Eyeliner. Ay! And I'm just going to go ahead and start lining my eyes. What I like to do is drag from the outer corner. I'm doing a pretty thick wing today. And then I'm going to bring this in. About right there. So before I just map the outer corners, and then I'm going to slowly fill it in and drag it into my eye. The trick with monolid is you kind of want to start halfway and you want the inner corners to be so thin that it almost disappears. So I'm just going to start from the center. And I'm just going to connect these together. Just like that. And you can go back and go ahead and go back and fix it if you need to. I like mine pretty thick, so I'm just going to go ahead and taper it in. So I'm back and I have both of my eyes winged. I'm just going to be curling my lashes and applying some mascara. Don't curl too much, you just want to curl enough. I'm going to be applying mascara by Makeup Forever. It's called the Smoky Extravagance. And you don't want to apply too much, you just want to apply a little bit at the base, kind of pull it up. And it doesn't really matter what kind of mascara you use. I just happen to like volumizing ones when I do lashes. For lashes, I'm going to be using two pairs by Ardell. This is the 117 and this is the 122, and they're both in black and they're both the Natural Collection. So the first lash that I'm going to lay down are these ones. And the reason why we're double stacking is because that's going to help our eyes look even larger. So normally I would just go ahead and stack them before I glue them onto my eyelashes, but I didn't today because when these lashes go onto my eye, I'm going to have the end tilt up a little bit instead of this one going from inner to outer corner. The outer corner is just going to be lifted a little bit. So I'll go ahead and show you how it looks. I'm just going to be lifting it up. So I'm curling my lashes and make sure I'm kind of slanting it a little bit upwards to make sure the lashes stay in its shape. I'm going to go over my lashes with a little bit of mascara to make it stand out a little bit more. And then in the picture that I was looking at, the girl had a little bit of a darker crease. So I'm going to go back into this darker brown color. It's nice chocolatey brown. And I'm going to use a very detailed, precise brush. Just going to fill in the crease a little bit more. Starting from the outer corner. And then I am slowly blending it in. And although I'm bringing this color in, I am focusing it more on the outer corners. I'm just going to take a little bit more of Buck, and I'm going to be blending that darker color out. And for the Buck color, we're going to focus it more on the inner than the outer. So I'm bringing this higher up right here. It's going to balance out the wing and make her eyes look larger. Okay, so I went ahead and I gone back with my eyeliner and I kind of relined my eyes just to hide the lash band a little bit more. And her face is extremely contoured, so I'm going to be using Anastasia contour kits. This is the only thing that I like to use. And I'm going to start out with this. I know I've already almost hit pan, but I'm going to be mixing this color with this one right next to it. And with that, I'm going to be contouring to blend out the stripes in our face. I'm going to go in with this powder brush, and I'm going to use this color right here, and I'm just going to dust that onto my cheeks. She doesn't really look like she has a blush on in the picture, so I'm just going to use this to blend it upwards. So I'm not rubbing it, I'm kind of just going upwards like that. I'm going to go back into this the darkest color in the palette, and I'm going to use a flat brush by Sonia Kashuk. I mentioned this in my favorites video, and I'm just going to make a fish face and follow that until I reach from here to here. You want to stop where your eye starts, or the end of your eye. So you want to make a fish face and you want to stop at the end of your eye. You're just going to use this to really hollow out your cheekbones. So you're concentrating most of the product in here and dragging that out. And to sculpt the face, I'm going to do the same thing right here. So for lips, I'm going to fill the entire thing in with Jordana's Plush Plum. And I'm just going to be lining my entire lips and filling it in with that color. I might leave the center a little bit blank just because I want to use a redder lipstick, but we'll see how this goes. And when I'm wearing bright lipstick or dark lipstick, what I like to do is clean the edges with a bit of concealer. So going back into my concealer And to my flat brush, I'm just going to grab some concealer and go into the edges of my mouth and kind of follow the shape of it. And the last step we're going to do is set our lips, because in the picture I saw, her lips were pretty matte, and I don't have a matte lipstick. This looks, well, this is pretty matte, but it's not matte enough. So I'm going to take a little bit of translucent powder. It's barely anything, and it's by Shiseido. It's the translucent loose powder. And just a little bit on my finger, I'm going to dab it. And that's the final look. Thank you so much for watching, you guys, and I hope you enjoyed it.